Good morning, children. I am your chemistry teacher, and I hope everybody are very fine. Okay, and do you remember in the last class what we studied? Yes, we studied about the carbon compounds, that is carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide preparation and its properties, then silicones and silicates. Do you remember all those things? With that lesson was over. Now we will pass on the another one lesson, that is a solid state. And you know matter, yes, matter is exist in three states, that is solid, liquid and gas, out of which the solids are very hot, and those are, for example, for those things are diamond, metals and plastics. Those are hard substances. And in this chapter we are going to study about the solid state alone, its classification, its structure and its properties, as well as you are going to study about the defects of the crystals also. Now we will pass on the general characteristic of solids. We have already learnt in 11th standard that gas molecules move randomly without exerting reasonable forces on one another. Unlike gases, in solids the atoms, ions or molecules are held together by the strong force of attraction, so that they are closely packed. The general characteristic of solids are: solids have definite volume and shape, and solids are rigid and incompressible, that is, it will not compress further, and solids have strong cohesive forces. Cohesive forces are nothing but very great attractive forces. Solids have short interatomic, ionic or molecular distances. Their constituents like atoms, ions or molecules have fixed position and can only oscillate about their mean position. Then classification. The solids are classified into two, that is crystalline solids and amorphous solids. Crystalline solids are nothing but those have the definite shape and they are present as crystals, whereas amorphous solids are in the powdered form. For that the examples are glass, rubber, etc. And crystalline solids, it is further divided into ionic crystals, covalent crystals, molecular crystals, metallic crystals and atomic solid. The elements of this 18th group. Then the major types of the arrangement of their constituents are crystalline solids and amorphous solid. The term crystal comes from the Greek word krystallos, which means clear ice. This term was first applied to the transparent quartz stones, and then the name is used for the solids bounded by many flat symmetrically arranged faces. A crystalline solid is one in which its constituents, that is atoms, ions or molecules, have an orderly arrangement extending over a long range. The arrangement of such constituents in a crystalline solid is such that the potential energy of system is at minimum. In contrast, in amorphous solid, in Greek the amorphous means no form, so the constituents are randomly arranged. And in this one we are going to see about the differences between crystalline solids and amorphous solids. Crystalline solids have a long range orderly arrangement, whereas in amorphous solid they have the short range random arrangement of constituents. Crystalline solids have definite shape, but amorphous solids have irregular shape. Generally, crystalline solids are anisotropic, whereas the amorphous solids are isotropic. And the crystalline solids are true solids. The amorphous solids are said to be pseudo-solids or supercooled liquids. Crystalline solids have the definite heat of fusion, but amorphous solids the heat of fusion is not definite. Crystalline solids have the sharp melting point, but amorphous solids have the They soften over a range of temperature and they can be molded. And for the crystalline solid examples are sodium chloride, diamond, etc. And for amorphous solid examples, rubber, plastic, glass, etc. Now we are going to see the term isotropy and anisotropy. Isotropy means uniformity in all directions. In solid state, isotropy means having identical values of physical properties such as refractive index, electrical conductance, etc. in all directions. Whereas anisotropy is the property which depends on the direction of the measurements. Crystalline solids are anisotropic and they show different values of physical properties when measured along different directions. The following figure illustrates the anisotropy in crystals due to different arrangement of their constituents along the different distances. Next, we will pass on the classification of solids. Ionic solids. The structural units of an ionic crystal are cations and anions. They are bound together by strong electrostatic attractive force. To maximize the attractive force, cations are surrounded by as many as anions, as well as the anions are surrounded by as many as cations. Ionic crystals possess definite crystal structure and many solids are cubic, close packed. And for this example is Na plus and Cl ions in sodium chloride crystal. And the important characteristic of ionic crystals. Ionic crystals have high melting point. These solids do not conduct electricity because the ions are fixed in their lattice position. But they conduct electricity in molten state or when dissolved in water because the ions are free to move in the molten state or in solution. They are hard as only strong external force can change the relative position of the ions. Next is covalent solids. In covalent solids, the constituents are bound together in a three-dimensional network entirely by the covalent bond. And for this example is diamond, silicon carbide, etc. Such covalent network crystals are very hard and have high melting points. They are usually poor thermal and electrical conductors. Next is molecular solids. In molecular solids, the constituents are neutral molecules and they are held together by weak van der Waals forces. Generally, molecular solids are soft and they do not conduct electricity. These molecular solids are further classified into three types, that is non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. First, let us see the non-polar molecular solids. In non-polar molecular solids, constituent molecules are held together by weak dispersion forces or it is otherwise called as London forces. They have low melting point and are usually in liquid or in gaseous state at room temperature. For this, the examples are naphthalene, anthracene, etc. Polar molecular solids. The constituents are molecules formed by the polar covalent bonds. They are held together by relatively strong dipole-dipole interaction. They have high melting point than the non-polar molecular solids. The examples are solid carbon dioxide and solid ammonia. Next is hydrogen bonded molecular solids. The constituents are held together by hydrogen bonds. They are generally soft solids under room temperature. For this, the example is solid ice, glucose, urea, etc. Next is metallic solids. In metallic solids, the lattice points are occupied by the positive metal ions and a cloud of electrons pervades the space. They are hard and have high melting points. Metallic solids possess excellent electrical and thermal conductivity. They possess bright luster. For example, metals and metal alloys belongs to this type of solids like copper, iron, zinc, silver, gold, and copper and zinc alloy, etc. Crystal lattice and unit cell. Crystalline solids is characteristic by a definite orientation of atoms, ions, or molecules relative to one another in a three-dimensional pattern. The regular arrangement of these species throughout the crystal is called crystal lattice. A basic repeating structural unit of the crystalline solid is called unit cell. And in this figure you can see the unit cell. A crystal may be considered to consist of a large number of unit cells, each one in direct contact with its nearer neighbor and all similarly oriented in space. The number of nearest neighbors that surrounding a particle in a crystal is called coordination number of that particle. A unit cell is characteristic by three-edged lens or lattice constant A, B and C, and the angle between the edges are called as alpha, beta and gamma. Next, primitive and non-primitive unit cell. There are two types of unit cell, primitive and non-primitive. A unit cell that contains only one lattice point is called primitive unit cell, which is made up from the lattice point at each of the corners. In case of non-primitive unit cells, there are additional lattice points either on a face of the unit cell or within the unit cell. And there are 7 primitive crystal systems. They are cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, hexagonal, monoclinic, triclinic and rhombohedral. They differ in the arrangement of their crystallographic axis as well as angles. Corresponding to the above 7, Bravis defined 14 possible crystal systems, and those are given under as the pictures. And for example, if you are taking a cubic, here it is given as A is equal to B is equal to C. That means in this one all the 3 sides are equal. Like the same, alpha, beta and gamma is equal to 90 degree. So the angle of intersection of all the 3 faces are equal, that is 90 degree. Likewise, you have for rhombohedral, hexagonal, tetragonal, orthorhombic, monoclinic and triclinic. And some more pictures are also given. And in this also, you have in cubic you have 3, primitive, body centered and face centered, and tetragonal, primitive and body centered, hexagonal only 1 unit cell, and orthorhombic, primitive, body center, face center and base is face center, monoclinic, primitive and base is face center, trigonal and triclinic. And these things also you should draw the structure and practice it. Next we will pass on the primitive or simple cubic unit cell, that is denoted as SC. In simple cubic unit cell, each corner is occupied by an identical atom or ion or molecules, and they touch along the edges of the cube and they do not touch diagonally. The coordination number of each atom is 6. Each atom in the corners of the cubic unit cell is shared by 8 neighboring unit cells. Therefore, the atom per unit cell is equal to Nc by 8. That is, Nc is the number of atoms at the corners. Therefore, number of atoms in a SC unit cell is Nc by 8, which is equal to 8 by 8, that is equal to 1. That means in SC, 1 unit cell constitutes only 1 cell. Next is body centered cubic unit cell, that is designated as BCC. In a body centered cubic unit cell, each corner is occupied by an identical particle, and in addition to that, one atom is occupied in the center of the body. Those atoms which occupy in the corners do not touch each other. However, they are all in touch with the one which occupies in the body center. Hence, each atom is surrounded by 8 nearest neighbors and coordination number is 8. An atom present at the body center belongs to only a particular unit cell, that is unshared by the other unit cell. Therefore, the number of atoms in the BCC unit cell is Nc by 8 plus Nb by 1. That is 8 by 8 plus 1 by 1, which is equal to 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. That means in BCC, one unit cell constituents 2 atoms. Next, in a face-centered cubic unit cell, identical atoms lie at each corners as well as in the center of each face. Those atoms in the corners touch those in the faces but not each other. So, the coordination number is 2. The atoms in the face center is being shared by 2 unit cells. Each atom in the face center makes 1 by 2 contribution to the unit cell. Therefore, the number of atoms in a FCC unit cell is Nc by 8 plus Nf by 2. That is 8 by 8 plus 6 by 2, which is equal to 1 plus 3, which is equal to 4. Therefore, in a face-centered cubic cell, in one unit cell, 4 atoms will be there. Drawing the crystal lattice on papers is not an easy task. The constituents in a unit cell touch each other and form a 3-dimensional network. This can be simplified by drawing the crystal structure with the help of a small circles, that is spheres, corresponding to the constituent particles and connecting the neighboring particles using a straight line as shown in this figure. Calculation for the unit cell dimension. X-ray diffraction analysis is the most powerful tool for the determination of the crystal structure. The interplanar distance, that is d, between 2 successive planes of atoms can be calculated using the equation form of X-ray diffraction, that is 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda. This is known as Braggs equation. In this equation, lambda is nothing but the wavelength of the X-ray used in the diffraction and theta is the angle of diffraction. By knowing the values of theta, lambda and n, we can calculate the value of d. That is, d is equal to n lambda by 2 sin theta. Using these values, the edge of the unit cell can be calculated. How to calculate density by using this formula? Using the edge of the length of a unit cell, we can calculate the density rho of the crystal. By considering a cubic unit cell as follows, density of a unit cell rho is equal to mass of the unit cell divided by volume of the unit cell. That is, mass of unit cell is equal to total number of atoms belongs to that unit cell into mass of one atom. Therefore, mass of one atom is equal to molecular mass divided by Avogadro number. That is, M is equal to capital M. Capital M is nothing but molecular mass by Na. Na is nothing but Avogadro number. If you are substituting those values in this formula, the mass of the unit cell is equal to N into M by Na. For a cubic unit cell, all the edge lengths are equal. That is, A is equal to B is equal to C. The volume of the unit cell is A into A into A, which is equal to A cube. Therefore, the density of the unit cell rho is equal to Nm by A cube Na. By this equation, you have four variables, that is rho, n, m and a. If any 3 variables are known, the fourth one can be easily calculated. By using this formula, you can get the problems also. Next, we will pass on the packaging in crystals. Let us consider the packaging of fruits for the display in a fruit stall, and they are in a closed packed arrangement, and we can extend this analogy to visualize the packaging of the constituents. To maximize the attractive force between the constituents, they generally tend to pack together as close as possible in each other. And in this portion, we are going to discuss the packaging identical spheres to create cubic hexagonal unit cell. Before going to this one, you have to see the three-dimensional arrangement. First, let us consider the two-dimensional arrangement of the spheres for better understanding. Linear arrangement of spheres in one direction. In a specific direction, there is only one possibility to arrange the spheres in one direction. That is, the spheres in contact with two neighboring spheres on either side. Two-dimensional close packing. Two-dimensional planar packing can be done in the following two different ways, that is AAA type. Linear arrangement of the spheres in one direction is repeated in two dimension, that is, more number of rows can be generated identical to the one-dimensional arrangement, such as all spheres of different rows align vertically as well as horizontally. It is given in this figure. If we denote the first row as A type, then the above mentioned packaging is called as AAA type. Because all the rows are identical as the first one in this arrangement, each sphere is in contact with the four of its neighbor. Next is ABAB type. In this type, the second row spheres are arranged in such a way that they fit in the depression of the first row, as shown in this picture. The second row is denoted as B type, and the third row is arranged similar to the first row A, and the fourth one is arranged similar to the second one. So the pattern is repeated as AB and AB. In this arrangement, each sphere is in contact with 6 of its neighboring spheres. And comparing these two arrangements, that is AAA type and ABAB type, we found that the closest arrangement is ABAB type. Simple cubic arrangement. This type of three-dimensional packaging arrangements can be obtained by repeating the AAA type two-dimensional arrangements in a three-dimension. And that is, spheres in one layer sitting directly on the top of those in the second previous layer, so that all layers are identical. And all spheres of different layers of crystal are perfectly aligned horizontally and also vertically, so that any units of such arrangement as a simple cubic structure, that is given in this figure. In simple cubic packaging, each sphere is in contact with the neighboring spheres, 4 in its own layer, 1 above and 1 below, and hence the coordination number of the sphere in the simple cubic arrangement is 6. Packaging efficiency. There is some free space between the spheres of a single layer and the spheres of the successive layers. The percentage of total volume occupied by these constituent spheres gives the packing efficiency of an arrangement. Now let us calculate the packing efficiency in the simple cubic arrangement. That is, packing efficiency is equal to total volume occupied by the spheres in a unit cell divided by the volume of the unit cell into 100. Let us consider a cube with the edge having the length A. The volume of the cube with the edge length A is A into A into A, that is A cube. Let us take R is the radius of the sphere. From the figure, we came to know A is equal to 2R. Otherwise, R is equal to A by 2. The volume of the sphere of the radius is R, that is 4 by 3 pi R cube. And if you are substituting the value of R, we can get 4 by 3 pi A by 2 the whole cube, that is 4 by 3 pi A cube by 8, which is equal to pi A cube by 6. So in a simple cubic arrangement, the number of spheres belong to a unit cell is equal to 1. The total volume occupied by one sphere in a unit cell is equal to 1 into pi a cube by 6. Dividing the second equation by the third one, you will get the packaging fraction, that is pi a cube by 6 divided by a cube into 100. And if you are cancelling the a cube, then you will get 100 pi by 6. If you are substituting the value of pi, and we will get the answer as 52.31 percentage. Only 52.31 percentage of the available volume is occupied by the sphere in a simple cubic packaging, making inefficient use of available space and hence minimizing the attractive force. Next, we will pass on body center cubic arrangements. In this arrangement, the spheres in the first layer A type are slightly separated and the second layer is formed by arranging the spheres in the depressions between the spheres. In this layer, the third layer is again repeating the first, and this pattern is AB, AB, AB is repeated throughout the crystal. In this arrangement, each sphere has a coordination number of 8. 4 neighbors in the layer above and 4 in a layer below. Packing efficiency. Here the spheres are touching along the leading diagonal of a cube and it is given in this figure. From this figure, triangle ABC, their AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. AC is equal to root of AB square plus BC square. Therefore, AC is equal to root of A square plus A square, which is equal to 2A square, and that is equal to root 2 into A. In triangle ACG, AG square is equal to AC square plus CG squared. Otherwise, AG is equal to root of AC square plus CG square. That is, if you are substituting the value of AC, you will get AG is equal to root 2A the whole square plus A square. That is 2A square plus A square, which is equal to 3A squared. Otherwise, AG is root 3A. Root 3A is equal to 4R. Therefore, A is equal to root 3 by 4 into A. The volume of a sphere with the radius R is equal to 4 by 3 pi R cube. If you are substituting the value of R, we will get 4 by 3 pi root 3 by 4A the whole cube. If you are cancelling those things, and we will get root 3 by 16 pi A cube. Number of the spheres belong to a unit cell in BCC system is equal to 2, and hence the total volume of all the sphere is 2 into root 3 pi A cube by 16, which is equal to root 3 pi A cube by 8. Dividing the second equation by third, the packing fraction is equal to root 3 pi A cube by 8 divided by A cube into 100. If you are cancelling A cube and A cube, then we will get root 3 pi by 8 into 100. And if you are substituting this value, root 3, that is 1.732, and pi value is 3.14 into 12.5. If you are multiplying, you will get the value 68 percentage. That is 68 percentage of available volume is occupied. The available space is used more efficiently than in the simple cubic packaging. Next, the hexagonal and the face-centered cubic arrangement. Formation of the first layer. In this arrangement, the first layer is formed by the arranging the spheres in the case of two-dimensional like AB arrangement. That is, the spheres of the second row fit into the depression of the first row. Now designate this first layer as small a, and the second layer is formed by the placing the spheres in the dispersion of the first layer. That is considered, the second layer is considered as a small b. Formation of second layer. In the first layer A, there are two types of voids or holes are there, and they are designated as X and Y. The second layer B can be formed by placing the spheres either on the depression X on Y. Let us consider the formation of the second layer by placing the spheres on the depression X. Wherever a sphere of the second layer A is above the void X of the first layer, a tetrahedral voil is formed. This constitutes 4 spheres, 3 in the layer A and 1 in the upper layer B. When the centers of these 4 spheres are joined, a tetrahedron is formed. At the same time, the voids Y in the first layer are partially covered by the spheres of layer B. Now, such a void in A is called octahedral void. This constitutes 6 spheres, 3 in the lower layer A and 3 in the upper layer B. When centers of these 6 spheres are joined, an octahedron is formed. Simultaneously, new tetrahedral voids are also created by 3 spheres in the second layer B and 1 sphere of the first layer. Next is formation of third layer. The third layer of spheres can be formed in 2 ways to achieve the closest packaging. That is ABA arrangement in a HCP structure and ABC arrangement in CCP structure. The spheres can be arranged so as to fit in the depression in such a way that the third layer is directly over the first layer. This arrangement is ABA as a hexagonal close packed, that is HCP arrangement. In this arrangement, the tetrahedral voids and the second layer covered by the spheres of the third layer. Alternatively, the third layer may be placed over the second layer in such a way that all the spheres of the third layer fit in the octahedral voids. This arrangement of the third layer is different from the other 2 layers A and B. Hence, the third layer is designated as C. If the stacking of layers is continued, this is ABC, ABC, ABC pattern. Then the arrangement is called cubic close packed arrangement, that is CCP structure. In both HCP and CCP arrangements, the coordination number of each sphere is 12. 6 neighboring spheres in its own layer, 3 spheres in the layer above and 3 spheres in the layer below. This is most efficient packing. The cubic close packing is based on the face-centered cubic unit cell. Now let us calculate the packing efficiency of FCC unit cell, that is face-centered cubic cell. From the figure, AC is equal to 4R. Therefore, 4R is equal to A by root 2 or R is equal to A root 2 by 4. In triangle ABC, AC squared is equal to AB squared plus BC squared. Therefore, AC is equal to root of AB squared plus BC squared. AC is equal to A squared plus A squared, which is equal to 2A squared, and that is equal to root 2 into A. The volume of the sphere with the radius R is equal to 4 by 3 pi R cube. If you are substituting the value of R, you will get 4 by 3 pi root 2A by 4 the whole cube. 4 by 3 pi 2 root 2A cube by 64. If you are cancelling 4 and 64, then you will get root 2 pi A cube by 24. The total number of spheres belonging to the single face-centered cubic unit cell is 4. Therefore, the volume of all the spheres in the FCC unit cell is 4 into root 2 pi A cube divided by 24. That is root 2 pi A cube by 6. The packing efficiency is equal to root 2 pi A cube by 6 into A cube, that is volume of the crystal, into 100. Root 2 pi by 6 into 100, and if you are substituting the value of root 2, that is 1.414 and pi value 3.14, then 100 by 6, you will get the packaging efficiency as 74. Next is radius ratio. The structure of an ionic compound depends upon the stoichiometry and the size of the ions. Generally, in ionic crystals, the bigger anions are present in the close packed arrangement and the cations occupy the voids. The ratio of the radius of cation and anion is Rc by Ra. This plays an important role in determining the structure, and the following table shows the relation between the radius ratio and the structural arrangement in ionic solids. Next is imperfection in solids. That means all the solids are not perfect, need not to be perfect. They are always found to have some defects in the arrangement of their constituent particles. And these defects affect the physical and the chemical properties of the solid, and also it plays an important role in the various processes. For example, a process called doping leads to a crystal imperfection, and it increases the electrical conductivity of the semiconductor material such as silicon. The ability of a ferromagnetic material such as iron, nickel, etc. to be magnetized and demagnetized depending on the presence of imperfection. Crystal defects are classified as point defect, line defect, interfacial defect and volume defect. In this portion, we are going to consider only the point defect, more specifically in ionic solids. Point defects are further classified into stoichiometric defect, non-stoichiometric defect and impurity defect. And stoichiometric defects are further divided into Schottky defect and Frankel defect. Non-stoichiometric defects are further divided into metal excess defect and metal deficiency defect. Now we will see everything one by one. Stoichiometric defect in ionic solids. This defect is also called as intrinsic or thermodynamic defect. In a stoichiometric ionic crystal, a vacancy of one ion must always be associated with either by the absence of another oppositely charged ion or the presence of the same charged ion in the interstitial position, so as to maintain the electrically neutrality. First one is Schottky defect. Schottky defect arises due to the missing of equal number of cation and anion from the crystal lattice. This defect does not change the stoichiometry of the crystal. Ionic solids in which the cation and the anions are of almost of similar size, it shows the Schottky defect. And for this the example is sodium chloride. Presence of a large number of Schottky defect in a crystal lowers its density. For example, the theoretical density of vanadium monoxide, that is VO, calculated by using the edge length of the unit cell is 6.5 gram per centimeter. But the actual experimental density is 5.6 gram by centimeter cube. This indicates that there is approximately 14% Schottky effect is in VO crystal. Presence of Schottky defect in the crystal provides a simple way by which atoms or ions can move within the crystal lattice. Next is Frankel defect. Frankel defect arises due to the dislocation of ions from its crystal lattice. The ion which is missing from the lattice point occupies an interstitial position. This defect is shown by the ionic solids in which the cation and the anion differ in their size. Unlike Schottky defect, this defect does not affect the density of the crystal. For example, AgBr. In this case, small Ag plus ion leaves its normal site and occupies an interstitial position that is given in this figure. Next is metal excess defect. Metal excess defect arises due to the presence of more number of metal atoms as compared to the anions. Alkali metals like sodium chloride and potassium chloride show this type of defect. The electrical neutrality of the crystal can be maintained by the presence of anionic vacancies equal to the excess metal ions, or by the presence of extra cation and electron present in the interstitial position. For example, when NaCl crystal are heated in the presence of sodium vapor, Na plus ions formed and are deposited on the surface of the crystal. Chloride ions diffuse to the surface from the lattice point and combines with Na plus ion. The electron lost by the sodium vapor diffuse using the crystal lattice and occupies the vacancy created by chloride ion. Such anionic vacancies are occupied by unpaired electrons and they are called as F centers. Hence, the formula NaCl, which contains excess of Na plus ion, can be written as Na 1 plus X and Cl. ZnO is a colorless at room temperature. When it is heated, it becomes yellow in color. On heating, it loses oxygen and thereby forming free Z2 plus ions. The excess Zn2 plus ions move to the interstitial sites and the electrons also occupy the interstitial position. And the next one is metal deficiency defect. Metal deficiency defects arises due to the presence of less number of cations than the anions. This defect is observed in a crystal in which the cations have the variable oxidation states. For example, in FeO, the FeO crystal, some of the Fe3 plus ions are missing from the crystal lattice. To maintain the electrical neutrality, twice the number of other Fe3 plus ions in the crystal is oxidized to give Fe3 plus ions. In such cases, overall number of Fe3 plus and Fe2 plus ions are less than O2 minus ions. It was experimentally found that the general formula of the ferrous oxide is FeXO, where X ranges from 0.93 to 0.98. The last one is impurity defect. A general method of introducing defect in ionic crystal is by adding impurity ions. If the impurity ions are in a different valence state from that of host, vacancies are created in the crystal lattice of the host. For example, the addition of cadmium chloride to silver chloride yields solid solutions where the divalent cation Cd2 plus occupies the position of Ag plus. This will disturb the electrical neutrality of the crystal. In order to maintain the same proportional number of Ag plus ion leaves the lattice. This produces a cation vacancy in the lattice. Such kind of crystal defects are called as impurity defects. So with that we conclude this solid state, and overall we studied about the characteristic, the different types of crystals as well as the defects of the solids. Okay, listen the video carefully and followed by the assignment. You should do the assignment and submit it. We will meet in the next week. Okay, goodbye.